Good morning, everyone. This is Christy Johnson with Senior Market Sales. I'm an internal marketing consultant on the Medicare solution side. And joining me today is my friend and Willoughby representative, Courtney Mayer. Courtney has been with Willoughby for 14 years.
Yes, I've been there 14 years and I've done a lot of different things along my
Yep.
way while I've been at the company.
So she's very, she knows contracting, she knows agent support. So she really knows Willoughby, and she's a great source of information. And she helps, her actual title, she's internal sales and account distribution manager.
Yes. So again, I just do a little bit of everything so I can help on the sales side. But if there's those other questions with the contracting or, hey, what about this? I can help with all of that.
So, well, with that, I'm going to turn it over to Courtney. I'm excited. We're going to be talking about hospital indemnity and how to position it with your current clientele.
Yes. Well, thank you guys for having me here today. I'm super excited to go over our hospital indemnity product. This is a great plan. I have one on myself. I feel like everybody needs to have one, no matter, if you have insurance through work or not, because it's a great plan that pairs with any kind of plan, high deductible plans, and all of that. So I'm excited to be here. All right. And
Looking for the mouse.
The clicker. Sorry. Okay, so a little bit about Willoughby. Many of you may know us more as Medico. So 2 years ago, we actually changed over to the Willoughby brand. The reason we did that was we had a lot of companies roll up to one, and they wanted to have one brand, and we settled on Willoughby. Willoughby just represents that we will always be there. We will always be there for the agents, for the policy holders. And we've been in business since 1929, and we have an A rating, which we're very proud and happy to say. And another thing with Willoughby is just know that you have access to me, of course, but you have access to all of our departments. If you want to talk to an underwriter directly, you have access to them. Go ahead and give them a call and they can help with questions. I say that's one department I never worked in. I've done a lot of departments over here, but underwriting was never one of them. All right. So now let's get into why we're all here today, and that is our hospital indemnity policy. So a little bit about our hospital indemnity before we get into it is issue ages are 18 to 85, but the biggest thing with us is we have a guarantee issue from the ages of 60 to 79. So we have one of the largest age brackets in the industry for that guarantee issue. The reason we did that is we know that when you are writing those Advantage applications, there's no questions. So we wanted to mirror that on our side and again, make it as easy as possible to do business with us. So you're seeing these applications go straight through within a matter of minutes. There is a 7% household discount. If somebody lives with somebody over 18, they're going to get a 7% household discount, regardless if that other person is applying or not. So those are just a few things that I like to talk about before we dive into the benefits and all the good stuff on the plans.
And I think Willoughby has the largest guaranteed issue age range. So
yes, yep, we do. And it's nice because when you enter it on the My Enroller, it's going to know by that date of birth, it's going to skip right over those health questions for you. All right. So I like to share this screen just because a lot of times people don't realize the unexpected cost of a health situation that they weren't prepared for. A lot of times people think, oh, I can save for it. I have money set aside, but we all know that that's not necessarily true. They have a hard time saving for those unexpected health events. So this is just kind of showing you the financial effects that it's had over people. So 44% had to set up a payment plan for their healthcare cost. 42% spent all or majority of their savings. 27% were unable to afford necessities. And when we say necessities, we are talking things such as your basic needs, food, housing, those kind of things. I always say none of us have that crystal ball. We don't know, on this day at this time, we're going to have to go into the hospital. So I just like to show this because it's kind of eye-opening just to see those percentages of people that were unprepared for those health situations. So here is our current footprint. Anywhere that you see highlighted is where we have our hospital indemnity policy available at. I do get questions a lot. Some of those states where we don't have it, we are trying. No guarantees, no updates on any of that right now, but we are working on getting this in most every state.
that's wonderful.
All right, so a little bit about the policy. So this is the basics. So everything that you see on this slide here, they are going to get when they select, say, 6 days at $300 a day. We'll get into them a little bit more. Then there's also riders, because I always say these plans, there truly is something out there for each individual, their needs, their wants, and also their budgets. Because everybody these days are trying to stay within a budget. So there's lots of options for everybody. So the hospital confinement, that's where you're going to start first. You're going to select the number of days and you'll select the amount per day. Then included is observation, emergency room, transportation and lodging, and inpatient mental health. They get all of that included when they select the base plan. So we can break those down a little bit more here. Okay, so with the hospital confinement, they're able to select days either 1 through 3, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, a 21 or a 31-day benefit period. Then they're able to select from $100 to $600 a day. And that's going to go up in $25 increments. So again, you can really tailor it to each client based upon, where they're at. Different states have different out-of-pockets for things, so you can really tailor it. A big thing with this is there's a lifetime restoration of benefits. So say they use 4 days. They have a 6-day benefit period. They use their 4 days. They're carefree for 60 continuous. We're going to reset them back to that 6 days again. And that can happen as many times throughout a calendar year. I always joke math is not my strong suit, so don't ask me to do the math on it. But as long as they're carefree for 60 continuous days, they will get it reset back for them. Now, also included is the observation unit benefit, because let's face it, clients, if they're in observation, they don't know that they're in observation until that is billed over to us, because to them, it looks like a hospital setting room. It feels like that. With this, it's going to pay 100% of whatever daily benefit they selected. So if they selected $400 a day, we would pay $400 for up to 6 days of observation. The nice thing is there's no minimum or maximum hours. So they could be there for 2 hours, they could be there for 20 hours, and we would pay that observation. And again, this is included within the base policy. It's not an additional rider or anything that has to be added with it. Then the emergency room benefit. This is going to cover $150 for up to 4 days in a calendar year if they go into the emergency room. Now, they do have to go into the emergency room either due for an accident or an injury in order for that to cover out. Then the transportation and lodging. This is a unique one here for us at Wellaby. This is if you have somebody that has to travel more than 50 miles from their residence to receive treatment in a hospital facility, we will pay them $100 for up to 10 days. Because if they're having to travel more than 50 miles, they're probably going to have someone with them. They're going to have to more than likely stay in a hotel. They might need, they're going to want to eat while they're gone and have to pay for gas. So this would just help for those kind of things. So I always say, especially for your more rural area clients that live out in those areas where they are having to travel to receive treatment in that hospital setting. So that's a great benefit.
And I always forget about this benefit.
Yes.
And it is so valuable. Here in Nebraska, I live in Omaha, but at one point I lived 150 miles away, and you need a good hospital, you're going to be traveling. So that's
Yes.
a good one I need to try to remember.
Yes. And again, it's included. It's not an additional rider premium. It's all included within that base plan for them. Then the inpatient mental health, that's just going to cover $175 for up to 7 days in a calendar year. Now that included, so that wrapped up our everything that's included. So now we can get into the riders here. And as we go through here, you're going to see there's a lot of different options, as you know, to select from, because again, it's made for each individual, their needs, their wants, and also their budgets as well.
And budgets is a huge thing these days.
Yes. And with our plans, we've had this in place since 2018. We've had a lot of we've had endorsements over the years, I should say. We've never had a rate increase on it.
Nice.
And I like to say that because in today's world, it seems like every time you turn around, there's increases of some kind somewhere.
Yes.
Yes. So we're going to start with the ambulance benefit rider. This is actually our most popular rider we see come through on applications. This is just going to cover $250 for up to 4 times in a calendar year. Ground, air, I even say water, since we are in Omaha here, the Missouri River's right there, so if that was ever the case, we would pay for water transportation as well. There is a lifetime maximum of $2,500 on that plan, though, or on that rider, I should say. Now, the skilled nursing facility benefit rider, I think this is a huge one.
Me too.
That needs to be added. If you are unfamiliar with how it works, listen and we can get more information too, but it's going to pay $100, $150, or $200 for up to 50 days if they are needing skilled nursing facility care. There's also a one-time restoration of benefits. So if they're carefree for 180 days, we will restore that one time during the life of the policy. The nice thing with this rider is we will start paying on day 1 if they wanted us to, and we would pay in addition to, or if they wanted us to start paying on day 21.
So just for informational purposes, can you tell us or give us a definition of skilled nursing facility? Because I think a lot of people get that messed up with custodial care.
Yes, so skilled nursing, and they do have to have a 3-day hospitalization stay first in order for this to kick in for that. So your skilled nursing facility, that is going to be, they're separate parts of the hospitals, correct? When you
Right.
say that where they would be placed at.
Right.
So they'd have to be placed in that skilled nursing side of things. But again, this is a great rider that I feel like it needs to be added. It needs to be talked about because a lot of times people think that, oh, I have Medicare, I have this, it's going to cover it. They don't realize that they have out of pockets for things.
Right.
And that's kind of with all of these riders here. They just assume, oh, I have this, I'm covered, I'm good. They may realize that they have some out of pockets, but I don't think they realize the extent of what they may have, of what they have. So outpatient therapy and chiropractic service, I call this the buy one, get one, because you're getting 2 for the price of 1. And I'm a shopper, so I like to get a good deal sometimes. So how this works is it's going to pay $50 for either 15 or 30 days for occupational, speech, physical therapy, those kind of things. Now, I will say if you've never quoted this rider, it's not much difference to get the 30 days as opposed to the 15
It's like
days.
pennies.
It is pennies. And I point that out because a lot of times people may think it's going to cost a lot more, and it doesn't. It's not costing much more. So if you're ever quoting that rider, I encourage you to go take a look at that. Just in the drop down, it'll automatically calculate it for you. So that way you can see the premium difference. And then it's also going to cover up to 5 days for chiropractic care as well.
Nice.
So that's just a nice additional add that we have on that rider there. Now we're going to talk about, I call this that dreaded C word. Sometimes, people, they don't like to talk about it. Out of sight, out of mind. Unfortunately, we know that cancer affects 1 of 6 people at some time in their life. So I feel like this rider, and this is actually our fastest growing rider that we see come through on applications. So it's a one-time payment for internal cancer or malignant melanoma. Those are the 2 triggers that would trigger this to pay out for. It is available up to age 80. So the plan itself goes up to age 85. This rider only goes up to age 80. But they're able to select different amounts. They can select from $1,000, $2,500, $5,000, a $7,500, or a $10,000 lump sum. We'll pay that directly to the policyholder. It's tax-free when they get it. So I want you guys to think about, we do this every day. I hear stories all the times from agents telling me how people have used it. Some of the big ones that kind of stuck out to me as somebody on top of everything else they were going through, they had to get new clothes. And that's something I never thought of. I'm like, what are you talking about? They're like, they lost a lot of weight. On everything else that they were going through, they use some of this money to go towards that. And then I've also heard, it wasn't looking good for someone. They didn't have much time. They wanted to take this money and they wanted to go on one last vacation with their family. Nice. So it is truly theirs to use how they want to. And think about it. When someone has an Advantage policy, what are the 2 things that are going to meet their maximum out of pocket right away? Hospitalization stay and a cancer diagnosis. Yep. So this is a great rider. I have a policy on myself. I told you guys that at the beginning. I have the $10,000 lump sum cancer added onto it. My premium is $7.38.
So let me ask a question real quick. So if someone has had cancer prior, can they still get the rider?
Yes,
on this?
They can. So we do have a 6-month pre-existing.
Okay.
So if they had anything that was diagnosed, being treated for, recommended, 6 months prior, it will not be covered within the first 6 months. And so I'm going to use the example of breast cancer. Say someone is 65, they take out a policy. They're in their guarantee issue, so they can get the cancer rider. However, we would not cover that cancer that breast cancer because it was diagnosed prior, but say 2 years down the road, they get diagnosed with, a new kind of cancer, that would be covered for them.
So it's still worth it to add the
It
cancer.
is still worth it to add the cancer rider. And if someone did go on claim for this rider, once we paid it out, the rider would become null and void. We would readjust their premiums. They'd be able to keep everything else on the policy.
Something else I forget about.
Yes, it's a great rider. I could probably talk about this rider a lot more than what you guys maybe want me here today to talk about. So it is a great rider to add. Now, the outpatient surgery benefit rider. This is our third most popular rider that we see come through. That is going to pay $250, $500, $750, or $1,000 for up to 2 times in a calendar year for outpatient surgery. Now, when you think about outpatient surgery, I want you to think of a surgery classifies as a cut. So cataract surgery, that would be covered. One of the biggest questions I get is a colonoscopy covered, and that is not covered under the surgery benefit rider.
Because it's not a cut.
Because it's not a cut. So that is one of the biggest questions that I get are those two things on if we would cover them and how we would cover them. So I always like to just point that out, that we would cover cataract, not LASIK, but we'd cover cataract, and we would not cover a colonoscopy. Okay, urgent care center benefit rider. I joke that your urgent care center is popping up on every corner, but it almost seems like everywhere you go, they are popping up on every corner. This is going to pay $50 for up to 4 days. But I know for myself, I try to go to urgent care for the emergency room. It's cheaper.
Oh, you and me both.
I do everything possible to go to the urgent care before the emergency room. So think about, somebody gets sinus infections. They go to urgent care. We'd pay $50 for that. They'd be on their way. I had someone say that they cut their finger. They needed stitches. It was not a life or death situation where they needed to go sit in the emergency room for hours because, again, you're there for hours when you go there. So they got the care that they needed in a fraction of the time. They were in and out, submitted the claim to us, and we paid the claim for that $50 visit. So there's a lot of different variations. And again, I think sometimes people don't think about everything that urgent care can provide services for when you need care. All right. So the lump sum hospital confinement benefit rider, that's kind of a mouthful sometimes when I'm trying to say that all together. How I describe this rider is, say somebody is needing more than that $600 a day. They could add this rider. We would pay either $250, $500, or $750. And then you as the agent would be able to select up to 3 benefit periods. So we would pay this in addition to their base plan.
Okay.
So this is just if they're just needing some more coverage. Again, these were designed to go hand in hand with those Advantage clients, but anybody that has high deductible, if you're doing a lot of ACA business, these are going to pair well with all of those. So
one thing about that would come in handy, like for the dog walker. I mean, you don't think about those things when you end up in the hospital.
you don't think about, and we're in Omaha. I hate to say that, it's summer's getting to a close here. Winter's going to be coming. Say they have to have someone come in, shovel their snow for them while they're away. There's a lot of different variations that this can be used for. Okay, we kind of touched on this a little bit, but I just like to touch on it some more. So with our underwriting for this plan, we have simplified underwriting. So again, guarantee issue from 60 to 79. So if they're within that age bracket, no health questions. If they're outside of that, we are asking 9 health questions. And we are asking in the past 12 months. And here's just an example of some of those questions that we are asking. Now, for everybody, there is that 6-month pre-existing condition. So again, anything that was diagnosed, being treated for, recommended 6 months prior will not be covered within the first 6 months. I'm going to use asthma as an example. Somebody has asthma. They've had it for a long time. We would not cover that within the first 6 months. Month 7, they're good to go, and we would cover it if they were ever in the hospital for that. I like this screen.
I do too.
I like this screen a lot because it shows the potential payout value. Now, this is based upon a 70-year-old female with a household discount. So the base plan itself at 6 days, $350 a day, $21.63. Ambulance benefit rider, $3.41. Look at the skilled nursing, and then I want you to look at the lump sum cancer, because those are, in my opinion, probably the two biggest things, that should be added. $10.91 for skilled nursing, and then the lump sum cancer at $5,009.16.
And we're talking for a 70-year-old female.
70-year-old female. Now, I want you guys to think about when you go to your local favorite coffee shop, how much does that coffee cost? It's more than that.
Yeah, my last one was $7.
I know. So, yes, and that's just for one time. So, I always say that with these plans, they're getting value out of them. People don't take out insurance hoping they have to use it, they take it out knowing that it's there for when they need it. So these plans, again, very affordable. And then over on that right-hand side, you can see what the potential first payout we would pay if they had to, go on all of those. And we know that not everybody's going to take out every rider. We just like to show how affordable it is. Because again, people usually try to stay around that $50, $60 mark with these premiums. And this was kind of giving you that example of where a $60 premium would fall out for somebody.
And look how easy it would be to hit a $50 budget by just removing, possibly just the outpatient surgery and the urgent care. And you've hit your $50 budget.
Yes.
So very customizable.
It's very customizable. And that's the nice thing. When you're quoting these at the drop down, the click of a button, you're able to tailor these in a matter of seconds to really get it to each client. Because we know the client you meet with in the morning, they're going to have completely different wants and needs than the next person you meet with. So there's a lot of options that are available out there.
Look at that payout for $60 a month. You're potentially going to be paid out over $14,000.
Right. Yes. And because when people are taking out advantage policies or high deductibles, it doesn't mean that their pocketbooks are closed. It means that they're going to be exposed to those. So
Good point.
Plans are designed to go with those. And I just like to point that out because sometimes people think, well, they want this plan because it's going to be a lot cheaper, but that's our job to let them know that they're going to be responsible for all of this. And so this is a great slide that I just love to share. Whenever I have the opportunity, you will see me share this one here.
I've stolen this slide a few times.
All right. Now I'm excited about this.
I am too.
I am very excited about this. So we've talked about how they were designed to go with Advantage plans and how they were designed, to go with those high deductible ACA plans. But have you ever thought about pairing it with a high G? So we're going to kind of show you the different examples here. We have 3 different slides. We have one that's for a healthy person. We have one that sees a doctor a couple times. And then we have one that is, they've had a few more health conditions, just to kind of show you and give you the examples of how well these go hand in hand.
Especially with how the G's have taken such a hit this year. We had another one yesterday, 19% increase.
Oh, wow.
So people on a fixed budget.
Yes.
They're calling up and it's painful to hear them talk about, I can't afford this.
Right.
So what can we do?
Yes. And with this, we're going to show you the price for the high G, and then also if they added a hospital indemnity. So you're going to see the savings for your clients with this. Okay, so another thing with Wellaby is if you are writing a Medicare supplement high G and also a hospital indemnity plan with us, with Wellaby, when that claim comes through for the Medicare supplement, we're automatically going to know that and we're going to pay that hospital indemnity portion of it. So again, the ease of doing business with us is what we like to do. We know that you guys are going from appointment to appointment, call after call. So we want to do it as easy as possible. So that is one thing with us. Now, if you're writing a high G with, someone else and you're writing a hospital indemnity with us, then we would need the claim forms because we aren't seeing what that med sup is paying for out the other place.
Good point.
But I like to say write them both with us and we'll make it easy.
And is there additional discount if they write both?
They won't. So they'll get just the discounts for med sup. If they live with somebody over 50, they'll get a household discount. They'd also get the discount for the hospital indemnity policy as well. Okay, so let's start with our examples here. So this is based upon, this is going to be your healthy individual with no claims in a year because, a lot of times people that are relatively healthy and they're kind of maybe doing some of their research on their own anyways, they know that the high Gs are available out there. So this down here, I don't know if you guys can see my mouse down here. So for a regular med sup G, the total cost This is based upon a 72-year-old female
Okay.
with the household discount, just to kind of give you an idea. So total cost to the patient with just a Meds G, $1,538. If you did MedSup High G with a hospital indemnity policy, I'm going to round, we'll say $1,100. So there's still a significant savings for your policy holder. We do have a slide at the end that kind of breaks down what would probably be the best options to add with the hospital indemnity to help offset that deductible for the High G. So we'll get to that here in a few more slides yet.
And that high deductible, you'd be responsible for, I think, 2870.
Yes, the 2870 is what
Right.
you would be responsible
Right.
for first. And so this, again, we just have those examples of the 3 different options. And then the next slide you'll see after that is, again, it's going to have like the skilled nursing. It'll have the cancer. It's going to be the big things that if you did have to be hospitalized or if you did need care for, those are the big things that would meet that deductible and show you how the hospital indemnity would help with that. So this is going to be for a relatively healthy client who visits the doctor 3 times a year for hypertension. So again, down at the bottom, you can see that MedSup G, $1,795. The MedSup High G with the hospital indemnity monthly premium would be $1,397. So $400, their savings in a month just by adding those 2 plans together.
Nice.
Yes. Now the last one, because I get this question too a lot, what about the clients that aren't as healthy? What is that going to look like for them? So we're going to show you that. So this is based on someone that has a 3-day stay in the hospital after an ER visit. Then they fell, so they had to have a 28-day stay in rehab. So the HI is going to pay $900, $300 per day that they were in the hospital, $100 for that ER visit, then $2,800 for the skilled nursing facility, which they selected in this example, $100 a day for 28 days. So this again is going to show you that savings of $1,421.24 of savings. Then if we go down to the bottom here, the Med G, $1,538.52. MedSup High G with the hospital indemnity, because the hospital indemnity plan is taking care of that deductible that a lot of people are afraid of. And I think a lot of people sometimes shy away from that High G because of that deductible.
Right.
They think, I don't want to do that. I'd much rather pay a higher monthly premium for a regular G. But as you said, look at those rate increases we are having across the board on everywhere. And with us, our High G, we do not usually see as large of a rate increase as with
And I've noticed that.
Mm-hmm.
I have noticed that.
So this, I think that it's a great way to kind of break it down and show how affordable it is. And you're writing 2 policies for them. And we always say the more policies you have in-house, the stickier that business comes.
That's right.
So there you are, you're helping them save money, but you're filling in that gap of that deductible policy with them. Now this screen here, this is the ideal coverage option. So again, this is just going to kind of help fill in where they're more than likely going to meet that deductible from. So you can see here the hospital indemnity base plan, $18.30. I'm sorry, I skipped over one. The high deductible G, this is for 2025. Of course, we don't know those numbers quite yet for what next year is going to bring us, but $44.24. The outpatient surgery rider for $13.26. The cancer rider. And, again, you can tailor this. This is just an example that we've kind of put together to show. And then that last one, the skilled nursing rider at $11.11. So all of that, when you add it up, a total premium of $91.44.
And I really want to point out the pricing of that cancer rider.
Yes. $4.47. It's for a $2,500 payout. But again, some kind of coverage is better.
And they just write you a check.
We just write you a check. We would write the policyholder a check. Then it's theirs to do. If they, I always say sometimes, they want to help but use for those deductibles. Sometimes they may need experimental treatment that they're wanting to do that their plans aren't going to cover. They can take that money and use it for that. So yes, this is a great slide. You have it, I believe, correct? Okay. Yes. Now, there are some exclusions and limitations on our hospital indemnity policy that I just want to point out, and that is because we get claims submitted sometimes for everything. And when your policyholder takes out a plan with us at the beginning of their policy packet, when they receive it from us, there will be a list of exclusions and limitations. And they're one of the biggest things that we get claims on is DME equipment. That's not going to be covered under this policy here.
So for the layman, what does DME? That's durable medical equipment?
Yes, durable medical equipment. Yes. So that's not going to be covered. Dental care, we see a lot of claims come through for that. Pregnancy, unless it's due to complications. So if there's a complication with a pregnancy, then that would be covered. But just a healthy, regular pregnancy, that's not going to be covered.
So what constitutes a complication?
So say they have to go in and they're hospitalized for a condition. If they are having, babies trying to come early, stuff like that.
Okay.
If they have, there's all different kinds of ways with that. So if there's complications, but just a regular, I'm
Gonna have a baby.
9 months. Yes, that's not going to be covered with that. All right. And then here's one for the outpatient surgery. We kind of touched on it already, but this is just something that is not going to be covered under the outpatient surgery. And again, if you guys ever have questions, reach out to us, let us know. We can, kind of go from there. And if you have more in depth than kind of what you're seeing on here, these are just some of the biggest things that we see come through on claim forms. So we just kind of wanted to make sure that everybody was aware what would be covered, would not be covered with the policy. Then the claims best practices. So the biggest thing that we need when claims come through to us is if you could submit a UB04 form or a HCFA 1500 claim form. Those claim forms are going to have everything we need. It's going to have the procedure codes. It's going to have the intake date, the discharge date. It's going to have everything we need in order to file and submit those claims. So that way we can get them paid out. We've seen sometimes claims come through from credit card statements. We've seen people write in saying, I had this done. Unfortunately, we can't accept that.
It doesn't work.
It doesn't work. So these two pieces are what we need. And once we have that, that's going to allow us to get those claims paid out within about 14 days once we have all of that with us. Now, the last one down there, the assignment of benefits. Just let your policyholders know that if an assignment of benefits comes through with these, we are obligated. We have to pay the provider's office. So
that's good to know.
Yes. If the assignment of benefit, if they sign that assignment of benefits when they're getting their treatment, we as the insurance company, we have to pay the provider's office. So if they do not want us to pay the provider's office, don't have them sign it, and then we would reimburse them back directly.
Well, that was an educational moment for me.
Yes. And we get those questions a lot,
Yeah.
Hey, I submitted a claim. Where's it at? And we paid the provider's office. Well, why didn't you pay me? Well, then once we get to dig in, it's like, well, you signed this form. So we are obligated that we have to reimburse the provider's office.
So as agents, we need to know these forms. We need to explain these forms.
Yes.
So clients don't get caught off guard.
Right. Yeah. And I know sometimes when they go in, there's a lot of different forms that they're signing, but it'll say, by signing this form, all payments are coming to us. So that's just something that, yes, to have them be aware of if they want the payment to come to them, which most of these I would recommend having the payment come to them because they have those other deductibles that they're having to meet, and not having to worry about going back to the provider's office saying, hey, where's my money? So
where's my money?
Yes, where's my money? And as I don't have a slide on here right now about our current incentives.
Oh, yes.
But
the incentives.
Yes, our incentives. I save the best for last, I always say. So our current incentive is for Q3. So it's running till September 30th. So the cross-selling one. So that's going to be our hospital indemnity. If you're writing any dental or, cancer plans, things like that, it can be all hospital indemnity. If you write 5, that's going to be the trigger. So 5 is going to get you $50 per application. 11 or more is going to get you $100 per application. The nice thing is we retro back and we start paying. So say you write number 5. we retro back and we start paying on that very first application that would have qualified you for.
How often do they pay out?
So it's going to be semi-monthly. So after you qualify, it's the next semi-month.
Got it.
Yes. Yep. And I think it's a great incentive. We have incentives for all of our products, but we're talking about hospital indemnity today. We also have an agent trip to San Antonio next year.
Nice.
So that the hospital indemnity sales are just going to get you 2 times the points to qualify for that trip. I've never been there, so I always say, I'm like, I hope they let me go. I don't know if they will or not, but
They should. I know the feeling. I know the feeling.
let me go on that trip
So-
with them.
Well, Courtney, this has been educational. I always love seeing you. So with that, I'll open up if there's any questions. Does anybody have any questions for Courtney? If I can figure out the questions, the chat. Just throw them into the chat if you have them.
And I will say with our hospital indemnity, we're always trying to stay relevant and update. So we are having some updates with this. We've had this, you guys are going to be some of the first that I'm talking about it from because I just got the okay like yesterday.
Oh, okay.
So one of the biggest things with our daily benefit right now, if say they had $400, but they wanted to up it to $450 because that plan changed for the next year.
Mm-hmm.
We would have to rewrite the application effective 10/1 in 9 states, but Nebraska is one of those states. They can call in 1 time a year and up the benefit
Oh, no, I like
without
that.
having to rewrite the application.
That's very nice.
Yes, we know that those plans change, so we wanted to add that in there, and we're also adding a pet boarding rider. Not a rider; it's included in the base plan. Pet boarding.
It's in the base plan.
It's in the base.
Okay.
Pet boarding, yes. So it'd be $50 for up to 10 days.
Okay.
So we get that. People love their fur babies.
Well, I've got 3 of them. What would I do?
Exactly. Yes. And it's not cheap to board your pets. Whenever we go anywhere, we only have 1 dog. I'm like, man, her boarding stay was almost as much as our.
It's like a spa. It's like a spa treatment they're getting.
Yes. So we are, and I will make sure that I get you, Christy, I'll make sure that I get you all that. I don't have anything in writing right now or
That's
anything
okay.
like that, but I just kind of wanted to give you guys an idea of what's coming up here with us.
So we have a couple questions. Keith is asking on malignant melanoma, if it's in situ, is it covered?
Unfortunately, no. If it's in situ, that is not going to be covered. It has to be malignant melanoma in order for that. So in situ is basically kind of stage 0, where it hasn't necessarily spread. So that's why
It's in case.
Yes, correct.
So Bobby's asked, he got here late. Can we get a copy of the webinar?
Yes, I'll send it over to you.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Let's see. So this only works if you are hospitalized?
So the hospitalization portion, yes, but the riders, no, they don't have to be hospitalized in order to use any of the riders.
Like the cancer rider.
Right, the cancer rider, they don't have to be hospitalized. Outpatient surgery, it does have to be outpatient. So that's one of the biggest things with that rider. Sometimes it's not coded as outpatient. So just make sure that, again, it's outpatient surgery for that to cover it.
So James is asking the commissions, and I can get with you on that, James. Lisa Reynolds, you can't, chat is disabled. Miss Lisa, I don't know what's going on there. Oh, that's my fault. Sorry about that. This is a wonderful plan. Yes, we know, Christopher.
I have one on myself. That's the first thing I tell people. I just don't talk about this plan just because I work at the company. I have a plan on myself. My husband has a plan because I truly believe in it. So if I didn't believe in it, I wouldn't have.
Look how well it would work on the ACA side too.
Yes.
It goes down to 18.
Yes, correct. Yes.
You know, Michael, is there on-demand training for HI? This one should be on our website shortly. You can always call in on my team on the Medicare Solution side. We actually have training that we can do, and you're always welcome to give us a call. Vivian's asking, she wants the contracting link. There we go.
Yay.
So chat's disabled. I don't know what I did there.
I always say I'm not too techie sometimes, but I can't help you with that.
Fourth quarter bonus. Bobby's interested in that.
I don't have details on that yet. Once I do, I'll make sure that Christy and everybody here has it so that way you guys can share. So with me, they don't give me too many details until they want me to talk about it because it's my job to talk about things. So
Yeah,
they hold things from me until it's officially okay to talk
that's
about
funny.
it.
So do we have, I think that's it. I think I used the wrong terminology. It wasn't thrown in the chat. There's an answer and question there. So, are there any, if there aren't any other questions, we will let you go. Thank you for joining. And, I'm very passionate when it comes to the HI and helping our clients, and especially in these, with all the disruption and the,
Mhm.
covering that nut for the high deductible G's or your MAs. So let's help
Yes.
our clients.
Yes. Well, and another thing, when someone takes out a high G and a hospital indemnity plan, they don't have to worry about being stuck in a network. They can
No,
go. You can
and that's
go
a good point too.
anywhere that you want to. You're
Yes,
not stuck in your network. The hospital indemnity plan is going to travel with you within the United States,
right,
just like your Medicare supplement policy is
right,
going to. So that's another plug, with pairing those two plans. That's
right.
another positive for that.
Absolutely. So with that, I'm going to close this out, and I hope everybody has a great day. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.